2. This is 2023, paper 1. Number 1, the total credit to the bank column of a 3-column cash book is greater than the total debit. The most likely reason for this is what? A.
Bank overdraft.
Easy. Number 2, in the statement of financial position, expenses owing will be listed as
Current
right.
liabilities.
These are things that owe. So there is a big sellout right there. Maharaj bought 2 pieces of expired mushrooms from B&B supermarket and returned them.
Sales return.
Sales return.
Purchase. Yes, purchase. Purchases return. Purchases return.
Because they buy it and return it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Number 4, Ishani's cafeteria does not keep a complete set of accounting records. The bookkeeper has produced the following information, blah, 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 blah. What is the balance of the sales ledger control account? So somebody is actually asking about a question like this earlier, right?
Is B?
Ma'am, I'm going to do the calculation for the people who don't know how to do it, right? So I would always recommend you draw to your account. Okay, not a straight one, not a line like that. That was terrible. All right. Draw it to your account. So they want to know what's the balance of the sales ledger control account, right? Sales ledger control account deals with your debtors and credit sales. So you see that cash sales, you're ignoring that completely, right? Ignore that completely. The opening balance will be on the debit side. So balance brought down 500. And for control accounts, for sales ledger control accounts, the debtors, we treat it as an asset account. When assets increase the debit, when assets decrease the credit. So if it's increasing how much they owe, you go into debit. If it's decreasing how much they owe, you go into credit, right? So credit sales, is that increasing how much they owe or decreasing? Credit sales, is it increasing?
Increasing.
It's increasing, so you're going to debit, right?
Why I have 500, sir?
The
For
balance,
the account.
it's 700. Are you watching your own thing? Balance brought down is 700. All right. All right, so credit sales is increasing how much they owe. So you go into debit, 1,000. Cash received from account receivable, if they pay you what they owe, is that increasing what they owe or decreasing?
Decreasing. Decreasing.
So you're gonna credit. That's the last thing, because remember, we're not putting and doing anything with that cash sales. So we're gonna balance it now. And the balancing figure will be the difference between the two sides. So the debit side is equal to 1,700. The credit side is equal to 1,250. The difference will be 1,700 minus 1,250, which will give us 450. And that is how they get B, right?
Okay. So you're leaving the work in there?
I can't because I use the Zoom stuff to do it. So if I leave it, whenever I scroll, it will stay on the screen. See?
Yeah.
The normal without using the Zoom thing to do it, it takes real long to type it. So number 3 is B. Number 4 is B, sorry. Number 5. Accounting is the process of gathering information.
Is now 1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, and 3, sir.
All 3 of them are part of accounting. Number 6, which are the following actions that a company what should they do if it's likely to incur bad debt?
Provide for such losses, sir.
Provide for such losses, right? That's where you create the provision for bad debts. Number 7. Which of the following will be shown in the appropriation account of a limited liability company?
Is 1 and 3?
3 only. 2
All right, so you transfer to reserves and you return in
B.
director's remuneration will just be an expense. And
So
that's
is
in
B and?
no, it's 1 and 3.
What
Director's
that
remuneration,
one was there? 1 and 3, which is B.
right? B. How do they say D? My bad. All right.
Sir,
Director's
director's
remuneration
remuneration is in which account, sir?
think of remuneration as a big word for salary. Number 8.
Is B.
Merrill Industries operates on a 40-hour work shift per week. Overtime is paid at time and a half. Employees are paid $50 per hour. What is the gross pay if the employee works for 49 hours? So the first 40 hours will be paid at regular rate. That'll be 40 by 50, which is 2,000. The remaining 9 hours will be paid at the overtime rate, which is 9 by 50 by 1.5, since you said that's time and a half. If you multiply that, you'll get 675. 2,000 plus 675 will give us D. That's our number 8 is D. Number 9. See, I tell you this always bring a question like this, huh? If the trader had opening capital of 3,900, his drawings were 900 and closing capital was 4,860, what is his net profit? We do this question so much,
Is C.
we all know the answer. The answer
C.
is C, but just in case some people don't know it, the formula is opening capital. Can I small writing is that right? Right. Opening capital, add net profit, less drawings, will give you closing capital. All right, that's the formula. You know, opening capital is 3,900. We don't know what net profit is. But we know when we minus drawings of 900, we get 4,860. So the first thing we're doing, we're going to add back that drawing. So 4,860 plus 900. That will give us 5,760. All right, so that means opening capital plus net profit is equal to 5,760. So to just calculate net profit, we will take the 5,760 and minus the 3,900 from it. And that is what will give us our net profit. And that is how we get the 1,860. You need to know this formula. See that real times. If that come for exam and all they didn't know the formula after we do this so much times, I fighting all there. I don't care what country in, I come in and find it. And I could fight. Number 10, which of the following items is a capital expenditure? Is our next one you know?
D.
A.
D.
D.
Capital expenditure is when
Of
it's
machinery.
assets. Don't make that mistake with CX here. Capital expenditure is when you buy fixed assets. Number 11, a business receives 5,000 for rent revenue and deposits it, the amount in the bank account. How will this transaction be recorded? Right?
Debit.
Debit. That is, yeah.
Debit what? Bank and credit rent revenue.
Yeah.
Correct. Number 12, the most famous accounting question.
Is C.
So the answer is C. All right, you debit the bank the amount of money you got, which will be 120 minus the discount, so 117. You debit the discount allowed the $3, and then you credit cake and the full amount. Everybody know the answers. It's flexibility, yes. I hope you're not watching this live.
So
Flexi
it's
and
B.
very nice. Number 13, if it what?
It was B.
I don't know. Let me read the question first, and they give the others a chance to, instead of saying the answer one time. Partnerships formed for the purpose of it have combining capital, benefiting different skills and sharing ideas. Which one are you saying it is?
It's D.
Which one are you saying just now?
I was saying B. What is D? Okay.
B. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Control accounts are kept in order to assist management in, but we use all control systems. Locate.
Locating errors.
All right. Number 15. What is the value of opening stock? I like this question. So we know our formula for cost of goods sold is opening stock, add net purchases, minus closing stock. So, all right, it's across here. Oh gosh. Opening stock. Add net purchases, which is purchases, add carriage inwards, left written outwards. And then a minus closing stock. And that will give you a cost of goods sold. You see, even if you don't get an income statement for paper 2, it's still coming in paper 1, huh?
So I got 2,000, sir.
All right, let's see. Purchases is 5,000. Carriage inwards is 500. Return outwards or purchases returns is 1,000. And then our closing stock is 1,000. And the answer we get when we do all that calculation is 5,500. So opening stock, add 5,000, add 500, less 1,000, less 1,000 equals 550. To find out what opening stock is, you're going to work backwards. So 5,500, add back the 1,000, add back the 1,000, that is 7,500, minus the 500, that is 7,000, minus the 5,000. That leaves you with 2,000. So you were correct. The answer is indeed B, 2,000. Number 16. The total of the sales day book would be posted today.
Credit side of the sales
Account. The sales account, not the ledger. The credit side of the sales account, right? Number 17. A trader received, we see this question all the time as well. A trader received an invoice of 4,000 less 25% trade discount. Subsequently, he returned 1/8 of goods with the amount. What amount would be entered in his return outwards? Say, as soon as you buy the 4,000, you minus a 25% discount one time, say on 3,000. And then if you return 1/8, that means it'll be 1/8 of 3,000, which is how much?
375, sir.
375. Easy thing. Number 18, oh gosh, this one has come all the time too. Everybody know the answer is what?
C.
C, right? We already know the answer. Because we know that everything counted as sales. The 50 and 75 counted as sales. The 550 counted as sales. But this 500 here was not sales, it was drawings. Because Mr. Kane took it at cost. He didn't pay, it's not like he even paid the selling price for it or anything like that. He took it at cost, so it's drawings. The next one that comes all the time, which are the following accounts are nominal, meaning that you cannot touch it. A, right? Correct. We calling it. Number 20. They want to know the value of the non-current assets. The non-current assets here will be furniture, motor vehicles, and premises.
Is A.
It's how much?
42,000.
20, 30, 40, 42,000. So it will be C, right? Your furniture, 10,000 plus a motor vehicle, 12,000 plus a premises, 20,000. Number 21, which of the following resources could be considered to be the most permanent asset?
Is D.
Premises,
Premises. Sell. The premises, we're building and stuff, right? That'll be the hardest one to sell. Number 22, which one of these arrangements is order of liquidity?
A, sir.
Cash in hand, cash at bank, and cash account receivable.
Correct. The one that is easiest to change to cash goes first. There is cash in hand and cash at bank. You just have to take out the money and boom, your cash, and then account receivable. Next one that comes often. When a proprietor withdraws cash or other assets from the business, what effect does this have on drawings or the capital account?
Is A.
B.
B.
So, if you have,
23. Sorry.
it will either increase your drawings or decrease your capital. It will increase your drawings and decrease your capital, sorry. Minus drawings from capital. Number 24. You get this question a lot. Somebody on YouTube was asking if the answer was B for this.
No, it's
C. It has to be C, right? You add up all the assets, the 10,000, the 6,000, the 15,000, and the 4,000 that customers owe her. That gives you 35,000. You minus the creditors, which will be the liability, 2,000. That leaves you with 33,000. And then, as we just said, you have to take away drawings from your capital. So that will leave you with 31,500. Number 25, which of the following outcomes will result when opening inventories of raw materials are added to net purchases of raw materials? You all should know this by heart too.
D.
D, cost of raw materials available for use. For it to be cost of raw materials used, what do you have to minus?
Closing inventory.
Stock of raw materials. Good. What is listen, boy?
Yeah.
Number 26. I didn't have to read the question. What's the answer?
A.
A. They said working capital is 15,500 and current assets is 16,500. What's current liability? Right? If current assets are 16,500 and working capital is 15,500, the working capital formula is current assets take away current liabilities. 16,500 take away current liabilities is 15,500. It has to be A. It could only be 1,000, right? Number 27. An article is subject to a 20% trade discount. If the list price is 600, what is the sale price?
B.
B. 600 minus the 20% trade discount. 20% is 120. 600 take away 120 is 480. Number 28 refers to the following summary of receipts and payments in the month of March. They want to know is the cash balance. Sorry. They're going to add all the money you get minus all the money you spend. Subscriptions received, that's money you get, 300. Rent paid, that's money you spend, minus 60, you're on 240. Purchase of games and equipment, that is money you spend. You're on...
Is A?
What is that?
Is A?
The answer is C.
I'm not finished. I'll tell you this now. 90. Postage of circulars, you spend 20, so you're on 70. And then proceed from book sale is money you get. So you get 250. 70 plus 250 is 320. So the answer is C. So all the money you get, you add. All the money you spend, you subtract. You get subscriptions received. You get proceeds from book sale. You spend money when you pay rent, when you post circulars, and when you purchase games and equipment. Alright, so you add the money you get, you minus the money you spend. Number 29, P-Hawk has a manufacturing business. The cost of raw materials is 1,900, rates and rent total 2,000, and factory wages amount to 2,500. The number of units produced is 640. What is the cost of one unit? This might be the most repeated subject.
C.
Dollars.
The answer is C, correct. This might be the most repeated question because this question comes for OA as well. Same question.
Okay.
This might have a record or something. They add up everything here to get the total cost, which is 6,400. And then divided by total units to get the cost per unit. 6,400 divided by 640 is 10. You know, things hard when you have the same question repeating in multiple subjects. Number 30, which of the following entries in the 3-column cash book is a contra entry? So you know it must be debit and credit, and it must be bank and cash. So what will be the answer?
A.
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 Yes.
Debit and credit, and it has cash and bank.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer will be A. And we halfway there already. 31. We did this question a few times. The formula is your balance as per cash book, add what?
Unpresented checks.
Add unpresented checks and minus judgments, right? So 560 add 120 minus 150 will give you D 530.
Sir, that formula is for all bank.
Sorry?
That formula is for all bank statements, right?
Yeah, that's for bank rec.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for all bank rec. Revise cash book balance, add unpresented checks, minus late lodgements will give you the bank statement balance. If they give you the bank statement balance and they want you to calculate your revised cash book balance, then you just go backwards. Number 32, they want to know, what is the question? Rose's contribution to the partnership will be recorded in the journal as 1 second, huh? Sorry about that. All right. Rose contributed 7,000 cash and a motor vehicle with 3,000 to a partnership. So her contribution would be 7,000 plus 3,000. That 10,000 would be her capital. Then you would debit cash 7,000, debit motor vehicle 3,000. So the answer would be C. All right. Go to number 33. I'm seeing somebody on the live saying maths paper 1 and 2 leak. I have yet to see.
Leak too as well? That's
I
great.
keep saying that I've yet to see the paper. So until I see the paper, then nothing leak. Number 33, they ask what is the total of the trial balance. So we're gonna put what will be on the debit side and what will be on the credit side. Right? And both sides should be equal. So we know assets go in which side of the trial balance?
Debit.
Side. Capital will go where?
Credit.
Right? Purchases will be where?
Debit.
And sales.
Credit.
So our two assets, 4,000 plus 3,000, and our purchases of 1,000, that's 8,000 on the debit side, and sales and capital, 8,000 on the credit side. So the total is D, 8,000. Number 34, they want to know what's the cost of goods produced. So that is your direct cost plus the indirect cost plus the opening work in progress minus the closing work in progress, which is the entire manufacturing account, by the way. Direct cost plus indirect cost plus opening work in progress minus closing work in progress. So your direct cost will be your factory wages cost of materials used as 8,000. The indirect cost will be indirect expenses. That's 11,200. You add the opening work in progress of 1,600. What was on just now? 11,002. That is 12,800. And you minus the closing work in progress of 1,700. And that will leave you with 11,100 C. Seeing it again, for manufacturing accounts, it's a direct cost plus the indirect cost, add the opening work in progress minus the closing work in progress. Let's continue. 35. Inventory was bought from M. Smith and credited but posted to N. Smith account. How would this transaction be corrected, right? So the inventory is bought on credit. So when we bought it on credit from M. Smith, we would have debited purchases and then credit the creditor's account, right? But instead of crediting M. Smith, we credit N. Smith. So we're gonna debit N. Smith to take it out of the account and credit M. Smith where it's supposed to be. So I'll say it again. Right now it's on the credit side of N. Smith's account. We don't want it there. So we're gonna debit N. Smith to take it out of that account and then credit M. Smith where it's supposed to be. So the answer will be D. Number 36, which are the following items on a statement of financial position with the in presentation when comparing the books of a company and the books of a sole trader. And what's the answer? Which one will look different the most?
Capital.
The capital. Because the company capital have ordinary shares, preference shares, authorized shares, reserve, retained earnings, and sole trader have capital and net profit minus drawing. Very different. Adina Williams is a petty cashier. If she has a float of 200 and she spends 180, how much should she be reimbursed?
180.
180.
Spend. Number 38. Number 38, a businessman bought a new computer for 6,000. He paid 4,000 in cash and traded his old computer. What would the entry record, right? So you get a new computer. So you're gonna debit new computer 6,000, because that's the value of the new computer. You're gonna credit cash 4,000, because that's how much money he spent. And then you're gonna credit the old computer 2,000 because that is how much it was worth. The difference, right? So the answer has to be D. Debit the new computer 6,000 because that's how much the new computer is worth. You bought it for 6,000. You paid 4,000 cash, so your cash decreased by 4,000. So you're gonna credit cash 4,000, and then your old computer you credit. Your old computer had to be with the difference. So your old computer you just lost the $2,000 in value of your old computer. So you credit your old computer 2,000. So it's D. Number 39, a company's rent expense accounts had an open debit balance of 2,000. During the year, 6,000 was paid for rent. At the end of the year, there was a closing debit balance of 1,500. What is the rent expense recorded for the year? So, if you can't do it off the top of your head, you could draw a T account for it, right? I'm gonna draw the T account. Sorry, I'm gonna be using Zoom stuff, so it won't stay on the board. Boom. Rent, right? You start off with the debit balance of 2,000. At the year 6,000 was paid. So you debit what the debit expenses, right? Expenses are always debited. At the end of the year, there's a closing balance of 1,500, right? A closing debit balance. For it to have a debit balance brought down, what side should the carry down be? If the balance brought down is on the debit side, where would the balance carry down be?
The
On
credit side.
so that credit balance is here. which means the missing figure, which is what they're asking for, the rent expense, would be 8,000 minus that 1,500. Because remember, both sides have to be equal. And that will give you how much?
6,500.
6,500. So the answer is B. Number 40, but you need to drop on the paper, drop on the paper. Whatever you have to do to get your answer. Number 40, which of the following financial documents shows the net earnings of a business? Net earnings, net profit, net income, all the same thing. What is the answer?
Income
A.
statement.
Income statement.
And 20 more questions. As you said, you could more than finish this in an hour and a half, huh? Because you're doing this in half an hour, 45 minutes, 41. Right, they want FIFO and LIFO. They see what they want to know is the gross profit under FIFO. Right? So your cost of goods sold is opening stock, add purchases minus closing stock, right? They don't have any opening stock here, they just have closing stock. So you're just gonna take your purchases and minus your closing stock to get cost of goods sold. Under FIFO, your closing stock is 5,000. So 10,000 minus 5,000 is 5,000, right? So your cost of goods sold is 5,000. Your profit is your sales minus cost of goods sold. So that will be 45,000, take away 5,000, and that will give you D, 40,000. All right?
Yeah. Please.
And then it asks what will be the gross profit out under AVCO. AVCO, closing stock is 3,000. So your cost of goods sold would be your purchases minus your closing stock. 10,000 take away 3,000, that is 7,000. So your gross profit will be sales, take away your cost of goods sold. So 45,000 take away 7,000, and that will give you 38,000. So 42 would be,
So why you not use the purchases?
say that again?
Why you not use purchases in the calculation?
Why didn't you use purchases? I did. I used purchases to calculate my cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is opening stock, add purchases minus closing stock. Right? It doesn't have any opening stock, so I'm just using purchases minus closing stock. And the first one, when we're using FIFO, I use my purchases, which is 10,000, and I minus my closing stock of 5,000 to calculate my cost of goods sold. 10,000 take away 5,000 is 5,000. Now that I have my cost of goods sold, I can calculate my gross profit. Sales take away cost of goods sold. And that is how I got D. And the second one, under AVCO, my closing stock was 3,000. So I used purchases again. Purchases take away my closing stock, gave me my cost of goods sold. 10,000 take away 3,000, gave me my cost of goods sold of 7,000. So then I could calculate my gross profit. Sales take away my cost of goods sold of 7,000, and that is how I got 38,000. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 43. In preparing its final accounts, a business omitted return inwards. Which of the following items would be affected by your omission? Net sales, yes, because net sales is sales take away return inwards. Net purchases, no, because net purchases have nothing to do with return inwards. Gross profit, yes, because if net sales is affected, gross profit will automatically be affected. So the answer would be 1 and 3. B. Number 44. Karen and Gad, partners in a business, shares profits and losses in a ratio of 2-1. What are their respective shares if the business makes a net profit of 3,600? So 2-1, to make this into a fraction, the numerators would be 2 and 1, and the denominators would be when you add the two numbers together. 2 plus 1 is 3. So Karen will get 2/3 and Gad will get 1/3. All right, 2/3 of 3,600 is 2,400. 1/3 of 3,600 is 1,200. So the answer is A. Number 45, in the books of a partnership, the salaries of a partner should be A, B, C, or D. So in the current account, your drawings and your interest on drawings go on the debit side. Your salaries, your share profits, and interest on capital go on the credit side. So in this case, his salaries would be on the credits in the partner's current account, credited in the partner's current account. So D. 46, we do this so much times. What is the capital? It's total assets, take away total liabilities. Our assets will be the 100,000 plus 200,000, that's 300,000. And our liabilities would be the 150 minus plus the 60, that's 210. 300,000 take away 210,000 is B, 90,000. For the 7, you want to know which of the following list of activities shows the correct order in the stages of the accounting cycle before final accounts. I know there's always say this, but if you go on my profile, you will see a song that will help you learn the accounting cycle by heart. All right, I'm not going to sing it now, so don't ask. But the answer is C, journalizing, posting to the ledger and trial balance. All right, the source documents, journals, ledgers, trial balance, income statement, balance sheet. Number 48, Mr. Ram, a shoemaker, bought a motor van for $11,000 cash. In recording this transaction, what she should do is debit to her motor van and then credit cash. When you buy a fixed asset, you have to record it in the fixed assets account. So the answer will be A. So you debit motor van, credit cash. 49 refers to the following information issued in a prospectus, blah, 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 blah. They said the issue was fully subscribed. How much capital did the company raise? So they want to know how much money you'll raise by selling 200,000 ordinary shares at $2 each and 10,000 preference shares at $5 each. 200,000 by 2 is $400,000. 10,000 by $5 is 50,000. 400,000 plus 50,000, D, 450,000. Number 50, what is the total provision for bad debts? So we're gonna, so they're saying for over 3 years is 3%, for over 2 years is 2%, for over 1 year it is 1%. So people who own for 3 years and more, they expect at least 3% of them will be bad debts. The longer you own, the more likely they will be bad debts. So you're gonna calculate 3% of 6,000, then 2% of 4,000, then 1% of 8,000 and add them together. Right? 3% of 6,000 would be 180. 2% of 4,000 would be 80. 1% of 8,000 would be 80. That adds up to 340, if my maths is correct. So the answer will be B, 340. All right, so I calculate 3% of 6,000, which is 180, 2% of 4,000, which is 80, 1% of 8,000, which is 80, and I add them together. And that's how I get 340. You almost finished. 10 more questions. 51. Photocopy machine valued at 5,000 is depreciated at 10% using the straight line method. Under the straight line method, the depreciation stays the same. They take the percentage multiplied by the cost of the asset, and that is the depreciation every year. So after 2 years, what will be the value? Anybody?
4,000.
4,000.
4,000.
So 10% of 1,000 is 500. You lose 500 twice. You have a 4,000 remaining. Number 52. Refers to the following information provided by K and Friends. They want to know what is the bank balance in the receipts and payments account for K and Friends. So again, we did this question before. We're gonna add up all the money we get minus the money we spend. And anything that is not money, we're going to ignore it. So our bank balance was 700. So we have $700. We purchase refreshments, that is minus 500. So we have 200. We purchase furniture, that is minus 500. So we are negative 300. Get 1,500 proceeds from the raffle. That is plus 1,500. So we on 1,200 now. Inventory have nothing to do with cash, so we're leaving that out. Donations to charity, 200. So we spend 200, so we on 1,000. Depreciation have nothing to do with us with cash, so we leave it out. Sale of equipment, we get 600 added. 1,000 plus 600 is 1,600. So the answer is B. Alright, so we get the same before they just formatted differently, but it's the same figure and the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
53. What is the total value of assets? You can call out all the assets to me.
Motor vehicles,
Right,
receivables,
right.
and building.
And so we're just gonna add up those three. 2,000, 2,000,
Please.
1,000 is C. What's 54? To which account should depreciation on office machines be transferred? Depreciation is expense. Expenses are located in the profit and loss section of the income statement. So from sales to gross profit, that's the trading account. Gross profit and net profit, that's the profit and loss account. And expenses are located there. So the answer is C. Number 55, which of the following accounting entries should be made if goods are sold on credit? So when you sell goods on credit, you're going to have to credit sales because sales is always credited. And then you're going to debit whoever is the person that you sold it to. So the account receivable. So credit sales, debit the account receivables account. So the answer would be D. You credit your sales account because sales are always credited. And since you sold it on credit, you cannot debit cash because no money passed. You have to debit the account of the person who owing you the money now. And that will be the account receivables account. Number 56. Too much. The company sells 5,000 10% preference shares at $5 each. The company will pay out dividends of, so 5,000 shares at $5 each is $25,000 in all. If it's a 10% preference share, that means the dividends are 10%. 10% of 25,000 is 2,500. Hmm. 57 and 58. You want to know what is the total value of the statutory deductions. So the statutory deductions are the ones that are required by law. And in this case, that will be a national insurance and a income tax. That will be 250 plus 1,500, which is 1,750. Number 58, what is the total value of the employee's net wages? You're going to take the gross wages and you're going to take away all of their deductions, which is all four of these here. So that will be 25 plus 15 is 4,000. 4,003 plus 2 is 4,550. 10,000 take away 4,550 will leave you with. Make sure I calculate it now properly. Oh no, wait, salesman's commission is not a deduction. Salesman commission is actually money you're getting. So you have to add that salesman commission. So it's 10,000 plus 300, which is 1,300, and then you're minusing everything else. So 1,300 minus 4,000, that is no 10,300, sorry, minus 4,000, that is 6,300, minus 250, that will be 6,050. So the answer would be A, 6,050. You understand how I got it right? I took my wages, added to my salesman commission, and then I subtracted the deductions. Number 59, carriage inwards and carriage outwards are classified as, are they real, nominal, or personal accounts?
I think it's nominal.
Nominal. So a hint, one account cannot be two different things. An account cannot be real and nominal. It cannot be tangible and intangible. I don't know what kind of ghost thing is that. It cannot be a personal account and a real account. So automatically C and D out. So it had to be A or B. And the last one,
Sir,
yeah,
what is special accounts? Is it the same as personal accounts?
special account. And what context?
So usually in multiple choice, it is ask which one is special accounts. Like they will give you the list if it's special, nominal, or real accounts. So I wanted to.
I've never seen special before. You'll have to show
Okay.
people. But they are the three
Okay.
types of accounts are personal, real, and nominal. If they give you a special account, they make up something. All right, so personal accounts are accounts of people and businesses. They are normally debtors and creditors. Your real accounts are the tangible accounts, and the nominal ones are the intangible. So if they put special, that is, they make up something to try and throw you off. Number 60, they want to know is the total indirect cost. So remember, it has to be related to the factory. So factory rent, yes. Depreciation of office machinery, no, because that's office machinery. Depreciation of factory machinery, yes. Factory insurance, yes. Salesman commission, no, because that has nothing to do with the factory. Lubricant for factory machinery, yes. So you're gonna add up those.
Salesman salaries
Plus
would
7,
be
that's 9, plus 6,000, that's 15, plus 5, 15,500. So the answer is A, and that is the end of 2023.
So you can send it in the group, right?
Of course, I'll send it in the group. I'll handle you all.
send a blank copy, please.
Right, but to me, it's
And
not.
also
The more you practice, the easier it will become.